Hello, I'm Alan Newberry, and today we're going to talk about making blades for silver wire inlaying using x-acto knife blades. And in a previous video, I had mentioned making the tools for silver wire inlay using a pin vise that can be modified so that it will accept the number 11 x-acto blades. And if you make kind of the Kiesler style tools, you can also use those, which are basically using an x-acto knife handle, so they will also accept the blades, so it would work either way. So this is a number 11 x-acto knife blade, and that is what we are going to be modifying. The way I'm doing it here, you don't have to do it exactly like it. It's just kind of giving you a rough idea. I like to use basically two different sizes. First thing I do is cut the tip off and dull the edge. So I've already dulled the edge by the time I did this video. And then cut basically the blade length pretty much in half. You can go a little further or not quite as much. It's not an exact thing. And then what I'm going to do is kind of try to center what will end up being my cutting edge in the middle of the blade. So there's already an angle on there from where the cutting edge used to be, and so I'm kind of matching that angle. Then I'm going down to my 2-inch wheel, and I am kind of rounding that out and narrowing, kind of making kind of a waist behind the cutting edge. And you can do more than I did here. You could make it narrower behind the cutting edge. This will work fine. It's just kind of personal preference how you really want to style the blade. And the widths, like I started saying earlier, I use two different widths. I use a narrow one that's maybe like a 1/16 of an inch, and then I use one that's maybe an 1/8 of an inch for most of my stuff. You could make a whole bunch of blades with a whole bunch of widths, but that's not entirely necessary. So here I am now sharpening it. I'm starting off with a 120 grit belt, and it doesn't take very long to get it basically sharp with that 120 grit belt, and then I will swap that out for a 320 or a 400 or something along those lines and go at it until I raise a burr. And then after I have a burr running down the whole length of the cutting edge, which is a very small cutting edge, so it doesn't take all that long, I will go over to the buffer and just buff it very fast because it's a tiny little thing. So really it's just hit it once on each side and you've probably got it. And basically at that point I have finished the blade. So it doesn't really take a whole lot of time, and you can make several of different sizes. You can make the area behind the cutting edge narrower, try different things out. There's a whole lot of different ways to do it, and x-acto knife blades are cheap, so just experiment with it and have fun. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, put them down below, and I really appreciate it and hope that you find this useful. Thanks.